news leader. This is Passe Partout.
Good morning, I'm Renee Allen, and of course, I thank you for joining us this morning. We begin in St. Francisville, where a man is behind bars after authorities say he sexually assaulted an elderly woman. Deputies with St. John the Baptist Parish Sheriff's Office got a call 2 years ago about an elderly woman being raped. So the Sheriff's Office say the victim suffers from dementia. Deputies were able to identify the suspect. 48-year-old Anthony Scales, he was arrested and charged with first-degree rape. Lafayette and Scott firefighters rescued a man from a nearly fatal 18-wheeler crash early yesterday morning. Take a look at this. This is where the driver of the semi-trailer was trapped yesterday. Scott Fire Chief Chad Sonnier says just after midnight, the driver drove off I-10 and crashed into a wooded area. Rescue crews were called in and firefighters were able to thankfully get the driver out. The driver did survive, though is in critical condition, we're told. And a Scott firefighter also injured his leg during the rescue mission and is expected to make a full recovery. Then just hours later, Lafayette and Scott firefighters made another rescue in I-10 involving an 18-wheeler this time. Fire Chief Sonnier says just after 7 o'clock yesterday, again, the driver of this vehicle crashed into the semi-truck and was pinned underneath it. Rescue crews from Scott and Lafayette were able to safely extract the driver. The driver was taken to a hospital in a medical helicopter and is said to be in serious condition. That was as of yesterday. While Congress is out of session since last week, Louisiana Senator John Kennedy made a stop in the hub city. Armed with a few talking points, Kennedy addressed Washington's approach on crime, legislation to cap the price of insulin at $35, and inflation, which he says is gutting Americans and hurts Louisiana's middle class the most.
We've got to stop the rate of growth of inflation, and the only way to do that, if you know anything about economics, and I know you do, is to reduce the amount of money and debt accumulation that Congress and the President continue to do.
So the senator says how to handle inflation is just something he and the President, they just do not agree on. The Colorado State Police have issued a bulletin looking for a couple who may be in Louisiana after taking their children out of Colorado protective custody. These are the 4 children, all between the ages of 4 and 9. They are considered missing and endangered. Okay, there's their picture right there. Detectives say their parents, Howard Miles and Clarissa Gardette, took the kids on June 30th. They say Miles has ties to Louisiana and may be taking the kids, or rather bringing them here. Well, for the first time ever, Lafayette has its very own food truck park. News 10's Austin D'Amico taking us to Park the Oaks to see what the community thinks about this new addition.
It is the beginning of phase 1 of Park the Oaks here in Lafayette, with multiple food truck companies here to show off exactly what they have to offer to the community.
My husband and I like to travel, so we go to Austin and we noticed the food truck parks is something we never had in the city, so we just figured why not start here. And we're on this north side of town. We have nothing like that, so it was perfect, and the community is excited.
In 2019, Christopher and Andrea Amos decided to invest in the Moss Street property with dreams to bring a new aspect to the north side of Lafayette. As the grand opening of the park kicks off, the Amoses have hopes to bring in more than just food trucks to Park the Oaks.
We'll do phase 2. We'll have a beer and wine garden, and we'll hopefully the farmers market type style in the future.
Park the Oaks gets its name from the many trees surrounding the property. They were all planted years ago by Bonnie Landry Rediford's father. After showing me pictures of what the property looked like before, Rediford talked about how great it is to see where she grew up becoming a huge part of the community.
I think it's great. I'd have never dreamed about this. And when we sold it a few years ago, it's like I would keep driving back and forth, just nostalgic, just kind of looking at it, whatnot. And And then when they started building this, I said, oh, this is going to be neat. I can't wait to see this.
Being the newest thing in town, I asked Lafayette District 1 Councilman Patrick Lewis how this will impact the community.
Well, it's going to affect it in a good way, a positive way. Again, there's a food truck park, and as you can see, look at the people here that are supporting them. This is just the beginning of something great to happen on the north side of town.
Whether it be good food, snow cones, coffee, or just a great place to hang out, Park des Oaks may be offering exactly what people here in Lafayette have been looking for a very long time. Here in Lafayette, Dawson D'Amico, KLFY News 10.
Also in Lafayette yesterday, volunteers with 100 black men of Greater Lafayette and several other organizations got together for a cleanup in the VZ community. This comes after the group received a national neighborhood grant to help revitalize that area right there. Overall, more than 45 bags of litter were picked up. The cleanup is the first endeavor to kick off the 100 plans to impact the community. UL Lafayette's archaeology department has discovered rare artifacts and charting the course of history right here in Louisiana. News 10's Bailey Liebert telling us what they found during their 6-week excavation.
Artifacts dating back to the last ice age were unearthed in the Kisatchie National Forest site by UL Lafayette researchers.
We're finding some projectile points 10 to 12,000 years old, so that goes back to some of the earliest people living in Louisiana. It goes back to the last ice age. They could be arrowheads, they could be spearheads, they could be dart points.
While the oldest artifacts found are these projectile points, the team has their eye on a slightly younger, more unique find.
We actually found evidence of wooden posts, and that's a first for this area. But there may be this big, suggesting a larger structure. And we found something like 5 posts. And this kind of changes what people think of that area. So maybe there are more permanent settlements there, or maybe they're hunter-gatherers, but they're building larger structures for some reason or other.
Dr. Johnson is grateful for the attention these recent discoveries have received. He hopes this gives the team an opportunity to train a new generation of archaeologists in Louisiana.
Southern Louisiana in particular, we're under a lot of threat of the destruction of landscapes, including archaeology. And there's not a load of people who do archaeology down here either. So there's a need for people to work, and there's a need for us to document what we can while we still can.
Dr. Johnson wants UL Lafayette students to know that majoring in anthropology with a focus in archaeology is perfect for students who have an interest in the field. Bailey Liebert, KLFY News 10.
So the team excavated an estimated 13,000 artifacts. In other words, in terms of this project, their work is far from over. And then many drivers ignore posted speed limits on Acadiana roads. As a result, the Acadiana Regional Transportation Coalition launched their campaign. Speeding catches up with you. The campaign will run from July 10th through the end of the month. The coalition's goal is to crack down on the amount of speeding drivers are doing.
We're essentially in the middle of summer right now. There's still a lot of traveling to be done. There are a lot of opportunities for people to be on the roadway, and we want people to navigate their trips as safely as possible. And speed is a big factor in whether or not a trip will ultimately end safely or not.
Jakowski says he hopes Acadiana will make the right choices when traveling this season. So, and speaking of safety, an intense heat wave continues across much of the country with dangerous conditions in some places and no relief in sight, right? And global heat records we're hearing are raising the alarm about a warming planet. Bradley Blackburn explains it more.
The heat of the summer is here, no matter where you are or who you are. The President and First Lady hit the beach in Delaware Saturday, soaking up rays in the ocean breeze right by other beachgoers. Everyone is looking to beat the heat, which in many places is at extreme levels.
Try to be done out of the fields by noon at the latest.
In the Southwest, excessive heat warnings are expected to last through the week. Phoenix has hit at least 110 degrees every day this month. Temperatures that can be dangerous.
It's not uncommon within 30 minutes to be unconscious from the heat.
In Wildwood, New Jersey, a fire at a substation knocked out power for tens of thousands, meaning no fans, no air conditioning.
I'm sweating.
The Earth itself broke heat records last week, with global temperatures reaching all-time highs. And scientists say it's more evidence of a changing climate.
In a word, human-caused warming. It's not rocket science. You make the planet hotter, you're going to get more frequent, intense, long-lasting heat waves.
Extreme wildfires are also a growing threat, like the Canadian fires that have polluted the air for millions of Americans.
We need to be removing greenhouse gases from the atmosphere, including planting more forests, taking better care of grassland and agricultural soils, removing carbon from the atmosphere, and cooling the climate.
A global problem heating up as millions try to cool down. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
And take a look at this duo. Saturday News 10's Chris Cozart and Trevor Saunier. They stomped through the Lafayette Science Museum. They taught kids more about weather, and they also showed off California's new weather exhibit. If you didn't get a chance to see it, it's really nice. All right. The tiny visitors were also able to make a tornado and do so in a bottle. All right, and speaking of our storm team, we check in with Storm Team 10 meteorologist Chris Cozart for a look at your weekend weather forecast.
Now, here's the live Doppler Storm Team meteorologist Chris Cozart.
Welcome into the Storm Team 10 Weather Center. We are once again dealing with some hot and humid weather on this Sunday, but as we head into the afternoon, there will be a round of scattered storms. Expect this again on your Monday. Over the next couple days, a low threat for severe weather. We'll watch very closely. A couple of these storms today and tomorrow could produce damaging winds and even the threat for large hail, but it's a low threat. We are looking and tracking some drier weather coming in for the next work week, starting as early as your Tuesday. Chance of rain going into that scattered category for the afternoon, then settling back down for your Sunday evening. Notice how things will be ramping back up as you go into your Monday afternoon with another round of scattered showers and thunderstorms. On this Sunday morning, temperature is pretty warm here. Lower 80s going into the low to mid 90s. We may get into the mid 90s depending on how quickly the scattered storms really develop here. Future track showing some rain cooled air right around that 3 to 5 p.m. hour. Temperatures tonight will cool off in the mid 70s and then right back to about 90 tomorrow. Future track again a little bit hotter for Monday afternoon, only because of some scattered rain that holds off until later in the day tomorrow. Still looking at feels like temperatures as hot as 105. Some backyards could go a little bit hotter than that. Again, it all depends on the timing of these scattered showers and thunderstorms that will come in for the afternoon and develop and really fire up with that daytime heating. So that will cool us down late in the afternoon, and for those evening hours, future track showing a good amount of scattered showers and thunderstorms between, let's say, 1 p.m. to about 6 to 7 o'clock this evening, and then shows and tries to show another round coming in around 10 o'clock. We'll see if that actually verifies. Going through tonight, fairly quiet. Could see a coastal shower storm Monday morning, and then heading into your Monday afternoon, some even more widespread, heavier showers and thunderstorms showing up on future track over the next couple days. There will be a low threat for severe weather. Storm Prediction Center has us in that marginal risk for severe weather. That's the bottom of the scale. That's a level 1 out of 5 for the likelihood to see severe weather. We'll have to watch for a couple storms that could produce damaging winds and the threat for large hail. The tornado threat is rather slim given the setup within the atmosphere. So typical summer heat on this Sunday. We are in July, 93 for a high, some scattered storms for the afternoon with that low threat for severe weather. More of this on Monday. In fact, rain chances even a little bit higher tomorrow. Then they start to come down on Tuesday. Some scattered rain still there, 94 for a high. Rain chances down even further for the latter half of the upcoming work week, and that's going to bring those temperatures up to about 95 to 96. So starting to turn even hotter during the day and warmer at night with overnight lows down to about 80 degrees.
For more information on these stories and more, remember to log on to our website. That's KLFY.com. Once again, good morning to you, Acadiana. The owner of Landry's Feed Store in Rain says you haven't seen the last of him or his family's feed store business. That's up next.
Looking at another hot and humid day across Acadiana this Sunday. Temperatures going into lower 90s and plan on scattered storms later on. There is a low threat for severe weather. We'll talk about that in just a bit.
Attention Medicare customers.